Quarter-final time in men's singles competition at the WTT Contender in Lagos, as Zhou Qihao of the People's Republic of China faces Germany's Patrick Franziska. World number 35 against the number 4 seed and world number 17. And they meet for the fourth time, with Zhou leading 2-1. He won the first in May of 2018, 3-1. He won the third in March of 2022, 4-1. And in between, Franziska won 4-2 in January of 2019. So there's never been a straight games win, and these two have faced each other. And the winner will meet either Jonathan Groth or Sun Wen in the semi-finals. In the first round, the 26-year-old Zhou Qihao beat João Monteiro of Portugal 11-3, 11-8, 11-6. In the second round, it was a win over Benedict Duda, 11-9, 11-5, 9-11, 11-9. For his opponent, Patrick Franziska, a 1-0 win against Taiwo Mati, 11-4, 11-1, 11-7. And then in the second round, Cao Cheng-Jui was beaten 11-7, 9-11, 11-6, 6-11, 11-5. So that going all the way to a decider. Franziska has been just outside of the world top 10. That was in July of last year when he made it to number 11. And he is a mixed team Olympic medalist from Tokyo 2020. This is the last of the 4 singles matches in the quarter-final stage that we're bringing you from this table before we look at the women's and men's doubles semi-finals. We'll have one match of each to come, and that will conclude the first session of action today. Thank you for watching. Great to have your company. Hope you're enjoying the WTT Contender event in Lagos. And you can be part of the conversation on social media using hashtag WTT Contender and hashtag WTT Lagos. The 26-year-old Zhou Qihao from the People's Republic of China, the world number 35, to serve world number 17 and number 4 seed Germany's Patrick Franziska, who is 5 years older at 31, to receive. And all of this being hosted at the Sir Molade Okoye Thomas Indoor Sports Hall in Lagos. Okoye Thomas, graduate of Columbia University and the former Chancellor of Lagos State University. And he was, Okoye Thomas, a national record holder as a sprinter. We haven't seen many sprint finishes, though, so far today on this table. Some quite tight matches. As you would expect and hope to get at the last 8 stage. Just had to go down too low to pick that up, clipping the wrong part of the table. imposing beginning from the player from Bensheim in the southwest of Germany on the eastern edge of the Rhine Rift and overlooked by the Odenwald Mountains, a beautiful settlement of about 40,000 people. Lovely scenery. And lovely shot making so far from Franziska. His opponent from Baoding in Hebei province, about 90 miles southwest of Beijing. And although Bensheim, Franziska's home, has got a fair bit of history to it, it does pale into comparison compared to the Western Han Dynasty history of Baoding, which goes back to a couple of centuries before the start of the Common Era. Just a brief delay in proceedings, probably not what Patrick Franziska wants right now. Having really raced to a nice lead at the start. He's had some very good performances domestically, Zhou Qihao, as well as his international accomplishments, perhaps most memorably beating Ma Long in a national competition. Franziska, in his own domestic competitions, was the runner-up at national championship level this year. And with the Saarbrücken club, he's just won the Champions League. Really important serve this coming up for the German, because he's been in good control. 8-3 he led. He just got over. What a recovery piece of movement from Zhou Qihao, because he had to stretch. Got his position back, dealt with the net cord. And he's got his position back, not just in that rally, but in this game, from 8-3 down. Very impressive response to some significant scoreboard pressure. Oh, what glorious movement from Zhou. He just quick-stepped his way around the table. Marvellous. This is a brilliant run of points from the world number 35. That's the first point that Francisco has won since he was 8-3 up. Second game point. Absolutely terrific from Zhou Qihao, because he was looking in real trouble in that game. 8-3 down. He wins it 11-9, losing just 1 point once he'd reached that 8-3 deficit. Francisco must be thinking, where on earth did that game just go? I was in control. Back to the table, these two go for the second game of the match. Zhou Qihao winning the first 11-9 from a point where he was 8-3 down. That has rather stung Patrick Francisca. What's his response? Doesn't he move nicely, Zhou Qihao? Another very impressive piece of lateral movement to sidestep his way across. Very similar to the first game. Francisca looking tidy at the start. Wonderful. Judged it perfectly. Second shot that just kept Joe right in the corner, allowing him to open up the space straight down the line. You always wonder in situations where players are meeting each other, not for the first time, how much the record is in their head. Whether it's something that actually it's just those of us that are fortunate enough to sit and watch and enjoy it and speculate about that sort of thing, whether it's just us that cares about the form, or whether they're aware, whether Joe is aware. Whether he knows this is a player who I always seem to find a way past. Francisca, one imagines he will remember that lone victory that he has against Joe. Certainly had the chance to win it. Well, he's virtually in the same position as he was a game ago, Patrick Francisca. If he wins this next point, there's going to be an extraordinary feeling of déjà vu, especially if he doesn't go on to secure the game. Once again, under scoreboard pressure, Joe. Seemed to play quite nicely when he's up against it, the 26-year-old. He has won a feeder event in the WTT calendar. That was in September of last year in Bulgaria. And he's twice been a doubles champion at this level in the contender events. Both of them in 2021. Once again, the movement of Joe is showcased. Timeout with Francisca poised to lose a big lead again. Patrick Francisca to serve, having led 7-3. That's a big point, potentially. Just keeps in front. Really nice, effective serve and follow-up. Was pressurized so effectively by Joe. forced into relentless defensive action until eventually it was too much to contend with. Missed it. Now parity from 7-3, 8-all. Just imagine what it's going to do to the psychology of the match if Joe can take this next point. And he hasn't. Franziska marginally, as the ball clips the net and Joe stares skywards. 2 points now for the German. Oh, that's one of the best rallies that we've seen so far today, and it goes the direction of Franziska. Some incredible angles. There, that shot from Joe did everything he possibly could to keep the point going. But in the end, just forced to go long, and Franziska has the chance to level the match. Of what might have been there, perhaps, for Patrick Franziska, but he has got a second game point. Wonderfully done to level it. 11-9, and this contest goes on. Really a terrific game from Franziska, because for a moment it looked as though we might be falling into the same pattern as the first game, when Franziska, having led 8-3 in the first and going on to lose the game, found himself 7-3 up and then at 8-all. But that was impressive mental strength from the 31-year-old. 1-all.